This is BrianVee at WhyWeWork, and I have the great pleasure of introducing to you Clayton Fraser. Good day, fine sir.
Good day, sir.
I just said a moment ago, I appreciate you coming on here. And this is the second time now I met someone on LinkedIn and had the opportunity, as now having the opportunity to interview them. Can you give us a little background about yourself in terms of work, and maybe even without saying what you're doing now, what's your purpose with LinkedIn?
Okay. Well, I do have a business background. I went to SMU, St. Mary's University, and got the pretty piece of paper. And I've always worked in business over the years. I've managed different companies with supervisor and that. And now I got a couple different things I do basically on my own, self-employed, which I love. I don't like working with a boss. And LinkedIn, I just try to meet people, try to grow one of my businesses through LinkedIn, or one of my passions through LinkedIn, I should say. It's not a business yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just learning, meeting people, and having some fun with it.
Clayton, when did you start working? So before your university SMU career and learning about the Blue Jays and stuff, what was your first job
Uh,
doing?
well, I had many different jobs growing up in Cape Breton. I done paper routes. I done
Was your
sold
first job?
worms at
What was your first job? Your first.
first job with real job would have been working on a vegetable farm.
Okay. What
One
led
of
you to
the
go there? What led you to?
uh,
How did you get into the vegetable business or in the farming business?
I was 15 years old looking for a job, and the guy said he'd give me a couple days planting cabbage. And I guess fortunately or unfortunately, I worked very hard, and I ended up working there for 3 summers with him.
What made you get that job initially? Like, what got you out of the door?
Uh, I was just looking for some way to make some more money. That was basic. I always been motivated by trying to make money when I was younger, right? I wanted to buy a car,
That
and
at 15, before you can get your license, you said, I'm gonna get a car.
yeah, and there wasn't many jobs in Cape Breton, so
Mm-hmm.
had to take what was available.
Yeah. So what did that lead to? So 3 summers of doing
Um,
that.
well, it didn't lead to anything like that I went into in the future,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but now almost no matter what job I do, I look back and I say, well, it could be always worse. It was never as hard as it was working on that farm.
So you
Like, I
were
mean, you're in,
actually tilling the ground and
yep. We were planting vegetables, weeding vegetables, picking rocks, uh, just about everything to it. It was just hard physical labor, and
so
it taught me a lot how to work hard.
so after those first 3 years, what did you do next?
Uh,
Or did you have
I
another
was
job on the side too?
I no I was started at university, and then I left university, and then I started working at a gas station, pumping gas, and I worked my way up to assistant manager there.
What did you
Which
take at, you went to SMU, did you say? That's what you just said. You went to
yeah,
St. Mary's. What did you
um,
take at St. Mary's University in Halifax, Nova Scotia?
I took my Bachelor of Commerce, major in marketing and management, but I
What
did take a couple years off between first and second year.
Moi aussi. Me too. Like, what am I doing? You know, like I
Uh,
got into this. What am I doing? And I don't think the plan was to go back. It just happened to be 1 or 2 years in between. Why did you get
I
in,
know exactly what you mean.
why did you get into business? I mean, so you're
Uh,
from, I mean, like from the accent, you're from Cape Breton, yes? All my family's from Cape Breton.
yeah, I'm from a place called Little Brador in Cape Breton,
Yeah.
and I just always liked business. Like when I was younger, I was always selling something or trying to figure out how to sell something to make money. And I always liked the fact that wanting to work for myself is the biggest thing. And you
So was it,
basically,
what I like to do is try to get the core of the thing. So Was it
Yeah.
like, I want to be rich, or I know there's a value in money and that's going to allow me to do things? What was your idea of trying to make money? What was the purpose, from 15, 16, like up to high school? So you say you always wanted to do something, therefore you took business. So what was the idea of the dollar that intrigued you?
Well, I grew up, my parents never had a lot of money, but
Hmm.
my father worked very, very hard as a mechanic.
Yeah.
And I seen like how hard he worked, but then I seen what the bosses had. And I'm thinking, well, I'd sooner be the one running the business, making the money with other people working.
Yeah.
So I went into business that way. But then I found out I really don't like the day-to-day management of people.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
so now I just like working for myself. But when I started, I just always like that fact of people come to me asking me questions. I like making more money as a manager, and I like being able to have the money go out and buy my stuff since my parents couldn't give it to me.
So when you went in,
And
yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
no, keep going.
So when you decided to get off the island and go to the big city to go to university, was it you had a one-way bus ticket? I mean, usually if someone got, or yeah, a little bus, get out off the bus. Was it a
Uh,
one-way ticket, or you're like,
no,
I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna start a business or something?
well, the initial one was I was going to come back. I started SMU in '95, came up for a year, didn't quite do as well as I should have done. And I went back to Cape Breton and actually went to UCCB for a couple of months, or
Yeah.
CBU now,
Yep.
and then decided I didn't want to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
So I started working at the gas station in Bredor. I worked my way up to assistant manager, but I still wanted more.
Yeah.
So then I done some door-to-door sales with Electrolux,
Did you?
selling vacuum cleaners, which was fun. I learned a
Yeah.
lot of good
You
skills.
can learn lots of things.
Yeah, and I liked a lot of it, but it's hard to sell a
It's hard to
$1,000
get on.
vacuum cleaner in Cape Breton when the business wasn't going good. But after 3 years of struggling at the garage and not being able to get any new opportunities and all that in Cape Breton, I decided to come back to St. Mary's.
Yeah.
And I did come back in 99, 2000, and I did go back to Cape Breton for that summer. But then after that, I decided to stay in Halifax, and I've been in Halifax now 20 years.
So after you graduated, did you see The Pursuit of Happiness by chance? The movie Pursuit with Will
Oh,
Smith?
one of my favorite movies.
I mean, it probably the idea of selling the Electrolux, which is a vacuum cleaner, and him going around town like, I can do it, and the drive and the determination, like, I'm gonna sell this, and that's what it takes to do some of those jobs. I mean, many of the jobs really, like the
Yeah.
determination to go through it. So after university, what were you gonna do? What were you gonna?
Um, I was
You're
looking
only
for a job
young
at,
though. Then you're just 20, right? Like 20,
uh,
22, 23.
no, I was actually 26 when I graduated because
Okay.
of where
Yep.
I took the 3 years
Yep.
off, right?
Yep. Yep.
And I was hoping to get into a job in marketing because I really like promoting products, talking to people, and all that. But it just didn't quite work out that way.
Mm-hmm.
I was current at the time. I was working. Let me think. Where was that? Oh, at the time I was working part time at Scotia Square in the Parkade, and I was working part time at the liquor store.
Yeah.
But I got passed over at the liquor store for a promotion, and I kind of got tired of that. And then I started with a finance company in 2004, which is basically I'm an independent representative, so you're
Yeah.
your own business.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't enough to keep me going. So I worked that a few years, that in the Parkade a few years, part-time, full-time, back and forth. And then I went into managed a gas station, and I was still doing the finance company part-time. But after a while, I realized I didn't like managing in someone else's business because they control all the strings and pay you
Mm-hmm.
very little.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went working security at Scotia Square for a few years while I was still working part-time with the finance company. And I worked my way up to supervisor with security, which was good. It was a good job. You work shift work, so I had a lot of time off to build my finance business. But then I still got tired of that. So I went and managed Salvation Army thrift store and worked the finance company part-time. And then I just got tired of working for other people. So then I decided I went full-time with the finance company. And that's one of my main businesses right now, is working for myself with a finance company.
So before we
And
get into your finance company
mhm.
position, what was the struggle in your times of, try, do this, try something else? You're realizing some things along the way. What are some key takeaways that you took from that bulk of experience, even from a young age, but trying to develop, get some traction for a career? What did you learn? And because you obviously didn't give up.
uh, I learned a lot of stuff. I learned a lot about dealing with people, and I learned a lot when you're running someone else's business. Sometimes it doesn't matter how hard you work. You might not get the promotion you want, and you're always asking someone else for a raise or someone watching what you're doing. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just
Hmm.
didn't enjoy it as much. And I found a lot of times I was babysitting someone else's business, because a lot of the jobs I had, you were hiring younger kids
Yeah.
that some were great. They loved working, they worked very hard, but there were some that didn't.
Mm.
And I just found out I don't have the patience or the mentality for that. And that was the biggest thing I realized, is I really don't want to be babysitting someone else's business.
Yeah.
And, and I know the managers work really hard, and I think it's a great profession. You just have to have the right patience and right mindset for it.
And
And
you recognize you just didn't have that, and it wasn't for you.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, It's
I
that's
wasn't happy.
insightful. Yeah, it's insightful, right? And some people they don't come to that realization, and they waste a lot of years, and they come to the end of their proverbial rope and say, "I've had enough of everything." But they just didn't keep trying different things that might suit them better. So, what is the position you're doing now?
Right now, I'm a regional leader with a financial company. It's independent. I work when I want, commission based. But the fact is, I get to control my hours, and I go looking for clients. It brings back the Pursuit of Happiness. I
Yeah, it
love that
does.
movie, because you see how he went after getting clients. I don't go that intense,
Yeah.
but I just like the fact that I can build a business that's going to be mine in the future.
So, what is it
And
that you're promoting? What is it you're selling? What does a
uh,
typical day look like for you?
well, I deal with all aspects of personal finance. So I help people with all their retirement needs, mostly through mutual funds, RSPs, education funds, TFSAs. I also deal with life insurance, and I also deal with debt consolidation. So some days I might work a lot with it. Other
Mhm.
days I might do very little. It all depends on if I'm in. The last few months was a little harder with some things, because I wasn't able to go out prospecting,
Yeah.
looking for people. But I do a lot on Zoom. I have been able to do a little bit, but it's mostly keeping my clients happy now and trying to get referrals from them, and just trying to help people. I'm very passionate about helping people get ahead. I hate seeing people being taken advantage of by certain companies out there. And I love being able to go in and show a person how they, with the money they're saving, they can have a very good retirement compared to making very little money where they were at. And another one that's very passionate with it, most people hate life insurance. I don't like talking about it, but it is very powerful when you can able to show a client how to go from 50,000 coverage to 400,000. Because if someone dies in that family, you're changing their lives. And I like being able to help people. And the company I work for is very flexible, allows me to do that.
Clayton, what did you think of insurance, life insurance before you got the job?
Uh,
And then what you think about it now?
I never knew much about it. I was 28 years old, and I said, "Well, what do I need life insurance for?
Yeah.
I'm young. I'm not old. I'm not going to die
No.
anytime soon." But as I learned it, I realized, like back then I had no thought of life insurance at all, but I realized life insurance isn't for us.
Yeah.
It's really for our loved ones.
Hmm.
And it taught me a lot that, most people think life insurance is for people that are 50, 60, 70 years old. But when in reality, it's really for people like our age,
Mhm.
people that are starting families with young families that if they died, their family loses their income. And when I had my daughter, my first daughter, it was really important to me that if something happened to me, I know she's taken care of. And now I'm a lot more passionate about it because there is a lot of products out there that people are being taken advantage of
Mhm.
and they're spending high money. So I get very passionate with people to show them how they can get the best they'll take care of their family. Because I'd hate to see a loved one die and their family have no money for their kids and then they're struggling, right? So it changed my perspective a lot.
So how do you, and without me putting my view into it, because I think I thought the exact same way, right? Like I never, what do you mean? I'm not dying for a long time. I'm not even gonna die. So what do I need life insurance? In their 20s or, in teens and stuff. But getting older in our 40s and you're like, yeah. Or I mean, there's some wise people that were wise when they're teenagers saying, no, I need to invest now, and they're laughing now for what they have done. But how difficult is the, it is a sell, it is a business, but how difficult is the sell for the people that you're approaching that have that same mindset, even if they're 30, 40, 50, like in those ages that seem like a reasonable age to be pursuing? How do you approach a sale with someone that doesn't see the benefit of investing for their own future when times are tough like this, or for their family? How do you approach that?
Well, a lot of times I try to approach the person more with investments before insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I try to talk to them about their investments because who doesn't want to make more money?
So what's the reason for that? Yeah. So what's the reason for not the I guess life insurance versus let's invest for the future? What is this taught to you, or this is just your own personal avenue?
Uh, a little bit of both. It's taught more people will open the door for investments because most people have never met a life insurance agent they liked because for numerous different reasons, a lot of life insurance agents got bad name over the years
Well, and
because
you're
there's
coming to talk about their death, so that's not so pleasant either.
it's not something anybody wants to
Yeah.
talk about. But when we get in, we use an educational approach.
Hmm.
When I sit down with a family, I look at everything. And I don't usually do business on the first meeting. Our company tries to get us not to. And I go in, I take all the information, and I'll say, well, it's great that you're going to have money when you retire, but is there any guarantee you're going to get there? And then I ask
Mm-hmm.
them if something happened to, I don't say happen, if your wife died or if your husband died, are you able to survive without their income? And a lot of times they'll say, well, what do you mean? I said, well, they die, their income's gone. Well, they say, well, I have work insurance, which is usually 1 or 2 times their salary.
Yeah.
I say, well, so it's $50,000. Your young fella is 2 years old. Is that going to last until he's 18? And then we ask them how much they would want every month, how much percentage of the spouse's income they would need to survive. And we figure out a number and we
Mm-hmm.
try to show them that number. And if we can't give them what they need, we at least show them something that is better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to do insurance as much as I talk about investments. We try to do insurance first because it's a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody knows their day of death, so there's no guarantee you're going to get to retirement. And you get a lot of people when you get in there, when you use the educational approach to explain how they work, it's a lot better than if you just went in and tried to sell them something.
Do you
But it
feel,
does.
go ahead. Yeah, it does.
It sometimes it doesn't work regardless of what you show them, right?
Well, I mean, it's sales, right? And it's
Yeah,
everything we do.
exactly.
Most of the time, it doesn't work,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah,
that's the reality. That's why those big companies are everywhere and they're advertised all the time. They're striking out all the time. But if they get the 1 to 2 to 3%, that's
yeah.
where they're making their money.
And my closing rate's a lot higher than that because I just don't sit down with thousands like they do.
Yeah.
We just sit down with people that we know need it more, and you build a relationship as well with the people, and it works quite good.
No, I'm sure, Clayton, just from knowing you for maybe 20 minutes, that you would be able to do that well. Like you would be able to do that well. If you were able to get them to open the door, then
Yeah.
to even for them to remember you and to think, hey, now I realize maybe I can go back to that guy, which is why business cards and emails and all of that is very important. So
Well,
you also go ahead.
you just said the hardest part right there, getting in the door.
Yeah.
That is the hardest part.
Well, you think
Once
of
you're
it,
in the
right?
door, yeah.
We're bombarded with everything every day. Everyone is, right? Like, who do we let in our door? And that's metaphorically speaking, but like, okay, well, it's this advertisement that pops up or this email or this message in the thing, and there's lots of different companies, insurance companies trying to sell as well. And I think, what do you say is your best asset as being an insurance salesman, an
Um,
investment? What is your asset
well,
that you bring to the table? Because you have the product, right? The product is the product you
yeah.
work for. You can't change it. This is what you got. So what is your best asset that you bring into this conversation with Mrs. Smith or Mr. Smith? Then you bring in, what is the extra value that you bring to them?
Well, one thing you said right there is I bring it to them. A lot of my clients, I go into their houses.
Yeah.
And if they have young kids and all that, they love that because they don't have to get babysitter, they don't have to do anything. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm flexible. I do a lot of my appointments in the evening or weekends
Yeah.
so that I'm able to meet their needs. But one other thing is from the business aspect, I'm very lucky. I do have a pretty good memory. So I'm good with numbers and all that. And I'm able to give clients lots of information on different products that I'll take the time and explain it to them. Where a lot of times, if they go to different institutions, they just tell them what they need and sell them. I find out what they want, and I think that helps a lot. And our company uses the educational approach, and I do deal with finance companies. I deal with like 10 different finance wealth management companies,
Mm-hmm.
which allows me to
Pick
offer
and
the best for the
choose.
client, not the
Right.
best for the business.
Yep, absolutely. Can Being a maritimer, and not only that, being a Cape Bretoner. I mean, this would take a little bit of humility, but do you think, because you said something, you said it's better than nothing, right? And I say that to my kids all the time, right? It's better than nothing. Because I don't know, there's countries all over the world, people they know that attitude. It's better than nothing. With that attitude, do you think there's something to that you bring also into the conversation with insurance? Because it's a humility that says, I'm really here to help you, and I want to bring you something, rather than, you know, some schmuck just trying to sell, say, I promise you the whole world, and I'm telling you this is the best. But I just from a little conversation, it seemed like you wouldn't ever really. The temptation might be there, because you're like, I got a bill due, like pursuit of happiness. I got some bills. I can't pay this much rent. So, Mrs. Smith, please, this is going to be the best thing for you. Like, there'll be that temptation always. But if you could remember, maybe not your roots, it's not a bad thing to be from Cape Breton, but the humility of saying, what I'm offering you is better than what you have, and that's better than nothing. Do you recognize that about yourself, having that, like, being in the cabbage farm mentality, willing to get your fingers dirty, right? And to grind through it and to understand. Do you recognize that about yourself?
Yeah, and it's funny. One thing you said there about the commission thing, you got to make the sale to pay. When I started, I wasn't closing as much because I was thinking about what I would make
Mm-hmm.
more than the client.
Mm.
And now, as I get more experience with it and all that, I go in there and I look at, well, and plus too with insurance, if a client gets insurance and then decides in the first couple of months they don't want it, I get a charge back. The company takes my commission back. So now when you go into a client's house, well, yes, they might need something that costs $100 a month, but they can only afford 50.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the way I look at it, if I try to force that $100 on them, which they do need, well, when things happen, things become a struggle and all that, what's the first thing they cancel?
Yeah.
Their life insurance. And then I have to pay back my commission.
Yeah.
So I would sooner see them buy something that they can afford, that they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
It might not be what they need, but like I said, 100,000 is better than zero.
Yeah.
They might need $300,000 coverage,
Mm-hmm.
but at least it's something. And then we can work with them over the future to
Yeah.
try to get them up to where they need. And I've done that with a number of clients as their lifestyles changes, they get new jobs and all that. We've added to their policy, but they still get the original one at a cheaper price, and they weren't struggling. And I think my clients like that for me doing that for them.
Yeah,
Doing that pressure enough.
I think if you were honest with them, not that you're not, but just like you're honest, like this is how I feel, this is what's going on in my head and my heart of how I feel, what I see, what you need, I see what you can afford. This is what I think might be a happy medium between the two. And this is my offer to you. And if we can work together, that's great. If not, here's my card. And you can contact me day or night, any other time, and I'd be happy to work with you because what I have is better than nothing. Right. And
Yep.
right now, obviously, they have nothing, right? Or they're paying too much with some other product, which is not offering them. And I know through a relative who was promised the moon and they got some dirt compared to what they invested in. And that's hard because then at the end of someone's life, people are like, well, didn't this person have some investments? Oh yeah. So then they rifle through that, dictionary of paperwork. And they're like, what were they signed up for? Right. And that's the thing. So I think if you open that up to them and show them, I think if you want to continue, what is your vision? What is your hope? What is your goal with the position you have? Do you have a longer term outcast? What would you like to do?
Well, right now I'm one step below regional vice president. I did for years think I wanted to be a regional vice president, but as my life changed, and like I mentioned there before, I don't like the day-to-day training of people, but I like motivating and helping people and all that. I'm going to stay where I'm at, the level I'm at, and I have a few other opportunities I'm working on. I'm really working hard to try to get into life coaching, motivational speaker, and creating a YouTube channel all about motivation. And I still do some teaching with the company I am. I love going up doing presentations, explaining the products or motivating people. And that's my ultimate goal, is to still help my clients, grow my client base. But I really want to get into motivating people, coaching, helping people. I love talking. I love doing that. And it's something I can bring some passion to, and hopefully I can provide some help for some people.
So this is how you and I met, because it was on LinkedIn, and then I saw your post of promoting by being a motivational speaker and helping people to get out and pursue what it is that they would like to do. Where did that come from? Where does this idea come from?
It just as I've been doing more and more with the finance company, like we do weekly training and all that.
Yeah.
And I found, as much as I love helping the clients, I also love when I'm up there trying to get the whole room of other reps going.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and I do a ton of self-help and motivational reading and watch a lot of videos. And I just said, that's something I'd like to do. And I always get made fun of when I was younger for talking so much. So now my goal is to get paid to talk.
Me too. My teacher told me, Brian, you talk too much. Okay, give me a mic. So what is your message then? What is your motivational angle to help and encourage people? In what field? Is it life, just basic, or is it work? What is it that you're aiming to help people with?
A little bit of both. About 2.5 years ago, I was just not as happy as I should be. I was a little bit lazy, gaining weight. I was sleeping in late a lot and all that. And I started a new, I was on Facebook, and there were some people talking about how this product they were using gave them lots of energy and all that, and really motivated them. So I said, I took a chance, and I started a vitamin program with it. And I really put a lot of work in to change my life. Now every morning I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I have a really good morning routine I follow. And it's really gave me a lot more energy, a lot more motivation to work on any one of my different businesses or interests going. And it's really changed my life. Like, I'm happier, I'm excited, I'm passionate. All my businesses are growing because of that. I'm a lot healthier. Still got a little bit to go to lose some more weight, but I'm a lot healthier.
It's Corona.
And yeah, I'll use that for excuse. And I really, really like the fact that by creating a good morning routine and being positive, a lot of mindset, I've been able to change my life. And I started promoting stuff, my journey on Facebook. And I found different people were liking it, commenting on that. So I started a YouTube channel about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I'd work hard and I stop. I work hard, stop. But now I just got really dedicated because people are really giving me some good comments on my videos. Still got a long way to go learn. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I'm getting people messaging me saying, please keep these going. I really enjoy listening to them. So I thought, well, maybe I can make it into a side career, if nothing else, or a really fun hobby. So I got the time because working as a financial advisor, I'm not always out with people.
Yeah.
I have a lot of free time. So it gives me something to do in my spare time. And I meet some good people with it that helps teach me a lot of things that I can learn and pass on to my clients. Plus, it's forcing me to improve myself, because how can I pass information along if I'm not learning? So it just all works together. And I'm having a lot of fun with it, and it's really, really helping me. So in the future, I'd love to do some motivational speaking. I would really love to get into a little bit more life coaching. I'm working on setting up programs. I have some people I help just on the side for free right now. And I really want to get the YouTube channel going. I'm hoping to be monetized this year. But it's all stuff I can do with my financial position as my main one. But it helps my financial company job so much because it's improving me.
Yeah.
And our company says, it's a great big self-improvement program with a huge compensation package.
Yeah.
Because the better I can come, the better I can help people. Is the way I look at it. And I'm having fun with it.
What would you say was the value of work up until this point, of the value of work through your life so far? How has work brought you through?
The biggest thing it taught me to work hard. Don't be afraid to put the hours in. Like when I was on the farm, I worked 50 hours minimum a week, sometimes 60, 70 hours of hard labor. At the gas station, it was, I worked 45 hours minimum a week, but I usually put more in. When I was going through university, I worked 2 jobs, the liquor store and the parkade, and I usually worked 35 to 60 hours a week while I was going to school. And I've always had 2 jobs, so it taught me to work hard, but it also taught me that the ones that making the money are the ones that work for themselves. And it taught me what I didn't want to do, I should say.
Yep.
And it really taught me the work ethic. And, and I also learned too over the years that work isn't just everything. A lot of times I put a ton of hours into work, working 2 jobs, and I just wasn't happy because all I was working, struggling, trying to get ahead. Now I realize, money's important, but it's not everything. I got 3 beautiful teenagers, I like spending a lot of time with them. And I love the flexibility right now that, like, with Corona, my kids weren't in school the last 3 months. I was able to be home with them, keep someone an eye on them. And I love the idea of flexibility. And also too, with teenagers, I want to show them what I've learned over the years, that things don't always work out the way you think they are. But if you put the work in, you can still get ahead. And that's what I'm trying to, especially with the YouTube channel, I want to show them that if you put the work in, you'll get the results, but you just have to be patient, I guess is too.
So
Biggest thing, Sean.
no, what is Clayton, what is your message to, as, I mean, you going door to door, you must meet all kinds of people, right? I mean, like if they're not specific people that someone has referred you to, I mean, probably most people who refer you to someone, the people are not going to have overt problems, right? They're not going to send you to a person's place that's just a disaster, like whether it's mentally or their home. But you've met all sorts of people. What sort of advice do you have for the people that you're kind of meeting, that you can see that their life is in shambles? They want to, they want to get out of the gutter. They want to start working. They might, they maybe didn't start work ever, or they haven't been working for a while. They didn't do it as a kid. And what I'm gathering is people who tend to work at a younger age gain a confidence and an ability about themselves that they carry that forward. But not everyone does that. So they're timid, and they're less likely to take that chance and a risk. And you going on YouTube is taking a risk, right? You're exposing yourself for everyone to critique. Any message board that you have under your video, and someone can rip you apart, but you're saying, it's okay. I want to do this to help people. So what is your message to the people, especially now with Corona? I think people are using this maybe as a crutch to lean more on. So they're isolating themselves more. They're using social distancing as an excuse to be antisocial. So what would be your message? What is your message for these people who, from my point of view, should do as you say, is keep trying, keep doing, and to get out there and work? What would be your message for them to start to find their motivation?
Well, one thing is, you just said it, they just have to start. A lot of times people are very afraid to start new things. And, unfortunately in society today, a lot of times people think a lot of stuff is going to be handed to them. Mm-hmm. And we find out that's not going to happen. I know, like you said, the crutch thing with Corona, a lot of people are using that as an excuse, because our company still recruits a lot of people in that, even though I'm not involved in that anymore. I talk to some people that are, and they say, well, I can get just as much money staying home doing nothing. So a lot of people are using that as an excuse with the government benefits that are out there. But mm-hmm. My biggest thing with people is, I said, you can't be afraid. And, with teenagers, I talk to them all the time about who cares what other people think. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to get that across to them. But I said, well, if I'm telling my teenagers you can't care what other people think, well, I got to do the same thing. Yeah. So that's why I started the YouTube channel, and someone said, well, what if someone makes fun of you on your channel now? I said, well, at least they watched it. I got some minutes time watched. And I got some views. I said, they might hate it, they might not like it, but
they might go tell a whole bunch of people how bad it is, and they'll come over too.
Exactly. And I said that to people. But, the hardest thing is when I go into clients' homes that don't have a lot. Like, we don't do a lot of door knocking as such. We're just meeting people, talking to people and all that. But when I go into clients' homes that don't have much or struggling and all that, it's hard sometimes, because a lot of times there is nothing I can really do for them. Yeah. They say, well, what can you do to help me? Well, the first thing you got to do is help yourself. You got to get some more money. There's nothing I can do if you don't have the money. But there is some free programs out there the government offers to help with education plans for kids. I set up a lot of them with money just from the government. I make very little off of it, barely enough to cover my gas. But I do it anyway, because at least their kids might have a couple $1,000s to go to university with. So it makes the parent feel a little bit better. There's a lot of programs out there with free money for people with disabilities that they don't know about. And I show the client that, I educate them. I said, well, and I even help them so that they can get the disability tax credit and get money back from their taxes to help their lifestyle. We don't make anything off of it, but we show our clients to do that because it gives them hope. And that's the biggest thing I try to give anybody I talk to. You got to have hope. And I also tell them there's only one person that can help you change. And this is thing I've had struggled with for many years. There's only one person to help us change, get ahead, anything in life. It's us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody's going to come along and just hand us our dream job.
Yeah.
We got to go for it. And
Mhm.
it don't matter how hard your situation is. There's somebody out there worse that has changed it around. And that's why I love about reading, because you learn about that. No matter how far you're down, you see where other people were and they got ahead. So if they can do it, why can't we do it?
Absolutely.
And I try to really show that hope with my clients and with people I meet, and same with the YouTube channel. It's all about giving people hope and motivation to make their life the best they want to be. Right?
I,
It might not be number one. It's just be better than you were yesterday.
absolutely. Better than nothing.
Exactly. I'm going to start saying that more. I never said that enough until you mentioned
Right?
it.
Better than nothing. I say it almost every day to my kids. It's all the time. Better than nothing. Well, and then I either follow that up with, it's better than a punch in the nose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's true.
No,
Like,
you're
it's like, what else could you get? You said that too. It could be worse. And that's what it is. That's the fundamental part of that is, you know, where you come from and their perspective on life. Life could be worse. Life can always be worse. And we quickly forget that.
some of the things we complain about here in Nova Scotia, there's many people in the world would love to have our worst situation. So I just try to look on the positive, and I trying to have a lot of fun with it as I'm getting older. Just trying to enjoy it and have fun. And if I can help somebody else, and if I talk to 100 people but I help one person, that's great.
You might even
Hopefully I'll help more,
consider
but at least help
you
one.
may even consider branching out on your YouTube channel and putting like a province by province resource guide for people,
Yeah, that's it.
right? Like a resource
I
guide. Like
have to
if
look
you're
into.
in these type of situations, here's where you can find resources, right?
I never even thought of
Right.
that.
Just to, you can have different playlists in your YouTube channel and just break it up. You can just break that up for a fun day, like the provinces of Canada, fun to remember, and then just break it up different. If you're looking for university tax credits or, bonds or whatever it is that you were referring to, like, about it, just to do it, to break it up. And then people are like, hey, there's a guy, he explains it, like, and you can do like screencast or whatever you call it, and going to the website and showing people where to go, how to find it. Because a lot of people, as you're saying, you're going into people's homes that are in pretty rough situations. So for some people to be in as rough situations as they are, being so new in technology, we, like you and I went to university in 96 and you went in 95, was it? And so it's the
Yeah.
same time. And that's when computers just kind of started taking on. So if anyone's older than us, they're, you and I are probably just on that
Yeah.
that wave of being with it. And anyone older or someone who didn't care much about it, just to get on a computer is it makes them anxious. They might be able to, I don't know what someone might do, go to YouTube. They can go to YouTube, right? They can
Yeah.
go to YouTube, but to go say, well, find the form that's on this page in the drop down menu, then you're speaking a different language to them. And that's fine. They can do a whole bunch of things that we can't do. But for you, with, especially your mannerisms, your maritime attitude, in a good way, a good attitude, and say, look, in here, if you're looking for this, and I don't want to throw you down a rabbit hole and it be for naught, but you could do that quite easily, and you can have like just a resource page, as long as it doesn't conflict with your insurance company.
Some of it I'd be allowed, and then some compliance would get is pretty heavy. Our compliance department. That's
Yeah.
why I haven't mentioned the name of the company or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Our compliance department is quite high, but I'm going to look into just resources people can look up.
Yeah.
Government ones,
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't know there's even government stuff out there,
And you
and I
even
like that idea.
you even mentioned like Salvation Army, like just things like places to go find food, places to go find clothing, places to go find whatever you need, right? This
And
Canada's
I,
a
I I love
resourceful
that
place.
idea. I appreciate the offer that you're going to help me.
Hey,
I never expected to get a great idea like that.
hey, no, it's not 1%.
I love it.
No, but that's how it works, right? Like just providing resources and being honest that this is how you support yourself by doing these things, and in turn it brings some value to the people who watch and listen to you. And I think you have a tender heart. You're a teddy bear, I think, that has the ability to, and no, we're not perfect. I'm sure you have people that knows it. Oh, Clayton, he's about me anyway. I know that,
Ask my teenagers won't say that.
right? Like ask dad. But
Yeah.
you could stretch that out however you wanted to, and even if it didn't become profitable, as you said, it's something your passion, right? It's a passion that you enjoy doing, and in the back of our mind, we're like, yeah, it would be nice though if we can make some money from it. Yeah, of course. But as you work it out, someone will. It's the idea of having one person enjoy it or get something from it, and that if that puts someone on their feet, really, that makes it worth it. It makes it worth it.
Exactly. And the way I look at it now, it's more looking for win-win solutions.
Hmm.
If they win and I win, well, that's great, you know. But it's more looking for that win. How can I help somebody? And if it helps me, all the better. If it doesn't help me, as long as it helps them, and just having fun.
Clayton, how can people reach you? So you mentioned your YouTube channel. So how, if someone's looking to go on there, whether they want to know about your speaking and motivational speeches, or some resources that they can find, and maybe someone will contact you and say, hey, can you find this for me? Or maybe they have an idea as well. Where can people find you best?
I am on Facebook a lot, Clayton Fraser, just under my name on Facebook. And my YouTube channel is still my name, Clayton Fraser. And that I'm working on the next year or so, having a website for the motivational speaking and all that. I just want to get out and I was offering some free stuff around here just to get it going.
Mm-hmm.
And that I haven't got that fully set up yet. I did try to set it up too early, and like I said, I'm not the most technical yet, so I'm still learning a lot of that stuff. But the easiest way to reach me is on Facebook or YouTube. It's Clayton Fraser. It's under, or even send me an email, claytonfraser@hotmail.com. Um, or if you Google my name, it should pop up quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I've been out there using the internet quite a bit, and it does pop up. And I'd love to hear from any of your listeners, because this has been a lot of fun. Thanks, Brian. I really enjoyed this.
No, I appreciate it too, actually. Um, where do you get, so all of your work, and you're a hardworking man. There's no doubt about it, right? And it seems like you're humbly doing so too. You're doing it. You're trying to find your way. I mean, when you said the electric locks, I thought Will Smith and the Pursuit of Happiness, and that's a grind, right? Day in and day out, and you do it with a smile on your face, even though maybe feeling a little discouraged on the inside. What do you do in your rest? How do you rest from your work? How do you rest from your labors?
Well, some of it I don't even classify work because I just enjoy doing it so much.
Mm-hmm.
But I do. I love sports. So the last couple of months has been a little hard. There's been no sports to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I am lucky. We're in one of the very few leagues in Halifax. They opened the softball league I play in. So play a couple games of ball a week. I just try to read a lot. I do a ton of walking. Uh, when I'm out walking, I listen to different audio. I'll have to find your podcast. I think they'd be fun to listen to. I get out, listen to that. I get out, enjoy nature. I go walking a lot. I sit at the campfire a lot. Try to pretend I'm a carpenter, build a few things. I just like to get busy and keep busy. But a lot of the stuff like the YouTube channel, trying to promote it, or I do have a little hobby business too. I do sell used sports clothing online on Facebook. I just enjoy going out, trying to find stuff, and it just relaxes me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, and spending time with my kids. Going to their events, watching their dance competition, their basketball, driving them places, which was a nice little break the last few months. But I just enjoy trying to spend some time with them and with my spouse. We try to travel a little bit, and just I don't really take a lot of downtime because I
Yeah.
enjoy what I do, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't work all the time, right? With the
Yeah.
finance companies.
Yeah. But it's good. I mean, you're saying things that are things you do in rest, and that it's good to rest regardless if you like your job or you hate your job, and you always want to take time off, whichever camp you fall in. Do you have anything else that you would like to say in regards to work?
Uh, well, the biggest thing is, and I meant to mention it there when you're saying, don't be one of them people stuck in a job for 20, 30 years that you hate. That's one of the reasons why I changed careers so many times over the years, because I see people at a job that have been there 20 years and they come in every morning and they just dread it. They're
Hmm.
excited for Friday and hate Sunday nights because they have to get up Monday morning. Don't do that. Take a chance. Uh, there's many people out there have done it and it can work out. I
Hmm.
know it's hard, but just try to stay positive and don't get stuck somewhere where you can't stand being. Because I think life's meant to be fun.
Well, it's also I
And
someone told me the other day, they said take chances because you don't want to live with the thought of knowing that you didn't do what you really wanted to do. Don't live with regrets.
exactly, I love that. And uh, you can't hear that enough because I think too many people are living with regrets doing a job because they're afraid to try something different. And I have a client that this year, he changed careers after 34 years at one place. And I got the most I don't
Respect.
know, admiration for him or and everything, because he went for something better after 34 years at one job.
Yeah.
He's switching for the last 10 years. And I said, that's great.
Yeah.
And not that he didn't like where he was at, but he took
Hmm.
the risk.
Took the
And I
risk.
think that if you want stuff in life, you got to take that risk. Not everything's going to work out, but it's better than being unhappy at something you hate.
Yeah, and I think I heard someone else say too, it's take the risk. Sometimes it could be a big drastic thing that very few people would ever do, but a calculated risk that is, before you're jumping into that new job, um, don't leave your other one unless you're really sure you have it, because you do have bills, practically speaking, and you do
Yeah.
have children to drive around and pay for their clubs and stuff like that. So a calculated risk, but still, like, nowadays with this down, or some people don't have downtime, but some downtime, go on LinkedIn, right? Go on LinkedIn, and like that's a whole, like, this is what I'm just realizing over a couple weeks, and maybe you have more insight than I do because I haven't been on it long. But if someone's like just playing on Facebook, like just scrolling down on a thing or an Instagram or a Twitter just to see what's going on, LinkedIn, and if you want to change your job or learn what other people are doing in these industries, LinkedIn is just all business. Like, it's just an
Yeah.
amazing place to, it's not like, oh, look who's, whatever news or, more superficial things, but this is just people. And then they're advertising, people promoting and asking and receiving. But how long have you been in that? Did you say that at the beginning, how long you were doing it?
Uh, LinkedIn, I've been probably about 2 years I've been on there, like using it more thoroughly. And I usually just when people friend me, a lot of people friend me after you get so many, you
Yep.
get friendly offers or invitations. I just send them a little message saying what I'm going to do
Yeah.
and put my YouTube channel there, and people seem to like it. I get quite a few subscribers response from it. Plus, every morning I put a little motivational picture
Yeah.
and quote on there,
Yeah.
and some days I'll get 5 comments, some days I'll get 20, but people seem to like it. And I've had a number of people offer me positions on LinkedIn or ask if you're interested.
Yeah.
Some are stuff I wouldn't be, some I would be, but right now it's not where I want to go. But like you said, there's so much downtime right now. People go on LinkedIn, go on all these networks,
Yeah.
things you can find. There's lots you can do to improve your situation right now,
Yeah.
especially with this downtime, if you put it to good use.
And it's a
And
good
that's the
way.
key, is
Go ahead. The key is,
using our time wisely.
because there's
So
there's
many
so many
people,
things you can do that's behind the scenes, right? Like going on a website from your own home. I mean, some algorithm somewhere knows that you did it, but your boss that you have a job with now doesn't know that you're going to look for a
Yeah.
job. So you're just testing the waters, putting your toe in the waters, just like some of your clients now who you might take a flyer, as they say, take a card. They may not want your insurance today, but they might tomorrow. You might not want that job you're looking at, but at least you know what they require. It's kind of like what you do with insurance, seeing what they're going to need and then work your way back. If you go to look for a job that you would really like to have, see what they require, come back to the present and say, well, then I can do some of these things, whether it's a small course or just reading some more information. They're just great ways to get ready to take that step if you want to try something different.
Exactly. And, but the key is they have to want to do it.
That's
Everybody has to want to do it. If you don't, it don't matter how many opportunities are out there. If people don't, you got to create your own opportunities. If they
Yeah.
don't want to look for them, you're not going to find them.
It's the
And
worst
that's
when
what I like
people
about the downtime the last couple of months. It's really been able to help people, I think.
it's worse when people have the excuse that I can't do it, or they listen to some news thing that says, "Oh, unemployment's up as high as it's been for," and then like, "Well, there's no jobs. We can't do
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Go plant some cabbage. Cabbage doesn't take time off, right?" So,
Exactly.
like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
The world's still rotating, you know. People need umbrellas. Don't
Yeah.
There's lots of things people can do. Clayton, in closing, why do you work?
Well, I work because I want to make money to give my family a better lifestyle. A better lifestyle is the main one, of course. But why I do what I do is because I like helping people. And yes, I help. I'm one of the people I like helping, I
Yeah.
should say. But I
Hmm.
really enjoy helping people. And whether that's me or other people, that's why I work. I want to be able to provide for my family and I want to be able to have a great future that, I can do what I want to do. Financial freedom is my goal, of course, like most people. But I want to be able to show my kids that anything they put their mind to is possible. And, just by creating a positive attitude and working hard, if I can get my stuff and they see how that can be done and they can do it, hopefully we can help other people do the same. And I guess that's basically why I work.
That's a great answer. I mean, it's a great answer. And it ties into what you're saying, where people, and we need to remind people as well that life isn't free. You might be handed. I mean, it's like saying you're sitting on the sofa and someone's handing you your food. Yeah, okay, they're handing you your food, but you're becoming lazy by not getting up and preparing it yourself. So you might get the money, but it doesn't provide you with the, the strength needed to carry on in your life. And this is, I believe, what you're saying. And it's important because people they rush by the first answers. Well, I need money. People are like, well, of course, yeah, but not all people realize you need money. Like, you need money. It has to come from somewhere, and you need to work for it. Because if you don't work for it, someone else is going to have to work for it. And we live in a society that kind of doesn't really say that. It's just this money comes. I don't know. I didn't go all around Cape Breton, but do you have money trees out there?
I wish. That's the
There,
last thing you'll find in Cape Breton.
I didn't find any. I didn't find any there. I haven't found any
Me
where I am
neither.
now. So unless someone shows us that island where they are, we need to work. So Clayton, I truly appreciate this, and I'd like to talk to you later and see how your YouTube channel is going. And I hope you all the best in insurance. And if people are in Nova Scotia and they need insurance or other types of investments, call Clayton Fraser. He's your man.
Thanks, Brian. It's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate this.
Thank you, kind sir. Talk to you again.
Thanks. Have a great one.
Thank you.